What happened there?
Oh, play before that, I just missed a three, that a wide three that I thought I was gonna make. I put my head down. Jalen and the teammates picked me up. He said, "Next play, don't think about it." So I knew that eventually that was gonna come back around. And Zay told me to play before also that we're gonna make some big shots when we need them. So we just kept our heads up, and I know that we had another run in us because we do periods in practice. So I knew we was gonna pick it up. I knew I was gonna pick it up because I knew I was having a bad game already. So just for my teammates to have confidence in me, knowing I was 0 for 6, 0 for 7. So I was like, I needed that. So that helped me out a lot.
How do you keep your confidence in your shooter to hit big shots when you're struggling?
Oh, that's how I always been. Like I know I was missing a lot, and I almost lost confidence. But shout out to my teammates for just keeping my confidence up. And I know I watch a lot of Kobe, so he didn't miss a lot of shots, and he didn't make some tough ones. So I just made sure I knew that 5 and the teammates were gonna give me the ball when I was open. I knew they wanted me to make a tough shot.
How did it feel to hit those after such a tough stretch for you?
Oh, finally! I wish it was earlier in the game. We wouldn't be that close, but I'm just all glory to God for just letting me sustain my success and sustain my confidence and my positivity for my teammates.
Jalen, what do you think that Mason and Isaiah both had some big threes, and you had some drives, and you kind of ran the team? What do you think of that stretch where you guys took the lead with Daniel on the bench?
It was pretty exciting. I told my shooters to stay confident. I told them to play a percentage game with themselves, knowing if they miss 5 in a row, they're going to make the next 5 because that's how well they shoot it. I told Mason that. I told him to keep his head up. Told Zay to keep his head up. But when I told them that, they came out and hit big shots like I expected them to.
You're good for you.
Welcome in. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, coming to you live each and every day here on KDSJ 479 from 1 to 2 p.m. And we came in with post-game audio of sophomore shooting guard Mason Jones and sophomore point guard Jalen Harris. Arkansas coming in off of a 73-71 big-time road SEC opener victory. Is something, Demetrius, I think that wins are hard to come by. And when you can get them on the road, there's no price you can put on that. How big is this for a young team such as Coach Anderson, his group, to be able to get that road win and come in with some confidence in their SEC opener?
I think it's huge. I think already, even though it's so early in the season, I think this was Arkansas basketball has smashed the standards and expectations everybody has had for them. I continue to say that win after win now, that these guys have done more than a lot of people have predicted them to do. And I think they're on a great start. I don't care about the win or how they got the win. It's such a young team that I'm just taking the experience factor from every game. So I like the road that these guys are on as far as the growth and maturation.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I think Mason Jones, here's a guy that was at the moment leading into the game before he hit those 3 big-time three-point attempts that kind of gave Arkansas that separation that they needed to close out the game. But he's 0-7, still yet being such a young team. And Mason himself is a young guy, young ball player in collegiate basketball, and in particular in the SEC. He continues to shoot. His teammates, as you heard in the audio, his point guard Jalen Harris, Isaiah Joe, and multiple players on the team continuously encouraging him to put up shots. Shooters got to shoot themselves out of slumps, and I think that's what Jalen did there. And crucial moments of that game, he was able to bring 3 key three-pointers to the table. Isaiah Joe hit a key pointer, and Arkansas was able to do just enough. But what really stood out to me, Demetrius, is Daniel Gafford in that stretch run in College Station over this past weekend. Daniel was not in the ball game. They were able to go small, but I think their guards, Gabe Osaborn, a guy that sometimes I may be a little too hard on him, but goes out and does the dirty work. Got critical rebounds. That speaks for this team when you're out, without your best player, a very young team on the road, and you're able to, pull out a win, don't you think?
Definitely. I think the beauty of it is that Daniel, like you said, wasn't in the game. I think anytime you're a superstar and you have so much pressure on you to stay in the game, to make the buckets, to score the points, but I think it gives him a little relief to find out that he has guys around him that he can really trust and build around him. It does him good that he can rely on his teammates to score buckets or do the things that he's not capable of. Even when he's on the court, even better when he's out on the court.
I thought Adriel Bailey started to get somewhat confidence back. 5 points, but the way in which he was able to go about those 5 points, I also thought, Desi Seals is a guy, a freshman that I continue to feel good about. He continues to grow in the offensive and defensive scheme for Coach Anderson and staff each and every game out. Critical 14 points. I thought Desi's success offensively in that first half, when Arkansas maybe wasn't playing its best basketball offensively, I thought Desi's crucial 13 points in that half was real big. He was able to keep Arkansas right there. Daniel, is still continuing to do what Daniel does, a double-double. He's commanding more attention, and I really feel like this bench, Arkansas got 22 points off their bench, which you have to have that with this young basketball team, and I'm continuing to see the growth. They're 1-0. We'll be hosting Florida this Wednesday night in Bud Walton Arena. As they're home for 2 games, Arkansas also will be hosting LSU this weekend in Bud Walton Arena, tip-off 5 p.m. I believe both of those games are on the SEC network, but we're going to step away. We continue to catch up with a couple of the players. Had more from Jalen and Mason. And then we got a Razorback we want to talk about. He's got a big honor, and I think most of you fans know who this guy is, but we'll let you in and just what he's accomplished. It's on the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a bit.
That you can maybe have some unexpected misses and you still win the game. How does that feel?
Yes, sir. Knowing I just got to get back in the gym, work on my free throws. Won't happen again.
How big a win on the road was this for you guys?
Pretty big. Knowing everybody counting us out, saying we're a young team, saying we may get 1 or 2 wins in the SEC, knowing we get our first one on the belt and it's on the road. So that's pretty big.
Coach, you said one of the big things was you being able to drive and get past their, whoever was guarding you, then dish. How'd you feel, and why'd you feel like you were able to do that?
I knew once Dan set the screen, the big was going to have to try to contain me, and I knew with the speed I have, I can get by and create for others, and if they don't help, I can score.
What do you guys think of Desi's 13 points in the first half? You guys obviously wouldn't have been leading at halftime. One for him. What do you think of Desi's play?
He was big. He was real big. But we knew Desi had it in him. I told him before the game, just play like you, Desi. Desi does this in practice, so it wasn't no surprise to me. It was just a relief that he finally could put it in the wild, in the world on TV that he's good. He's good. Desi's really good, and he showed you a glimpse of that today.
Mason, Billy Kenny was saying this was a big game to you because your sister. Did that mean? And you didn't have a brother play here, did you?
No.
Your brother, you didn't have a brother here.
No, sir.
So your sister, okay, yeah. It didn't mean anything extra to you to play here?
A little bit. I knew my sister. I talked to my sister before the game. She was just go out and play, just have fun. And just when I was here, I was real fast. So, I was just hanging with my sister, being on the court out there with the little kids. So, it meant a little bit to play here. But I'm glad we got the win.
How many games did you come to here, watch her play?
In her career?
Yeah.
Probably 15 or 20.
Did you ever think about going to A&M or hoping they'd recruit you? Or?
Oh, they couldn't recruit me. My AAU coach, he coaches here, so it was a violation. Coach Antonio.
Anything else for these two guys? Okay, appreciate it.
They talking about we might get late.
First of all, welcome to the SEC. That's the family. Teams are so familiar with one another that it's going to be tick for tack in a ball game. I think someone told me it was like 16 lead changes. We were up, they were up, we were up, they were up, and even as they mounted a surge right there at the end, we didn't.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. We come to you, like I said, each and every day, 1 to 2 p.m. from KDSJ 479, Monday through Friday. And finished out audio with sophomore point guard and sophomore shooting guard Jalen Harris and Mason Jones of Arkansas, coming off a big big time road win. Like I said, those are hard to come by, and you always enjoy them when you can get them. And Arkansas was able to get out of College Station this Saturday, 73-71, and what a lot of people really enjoyed. But another big accomplishment as far as Razorback football is concerned, Darren McFadden has just been announced that he will be joining the College Football Hall of Fame in the coming months. A real big honor for Darren and the University of Arkansas, and most of this generation from, I believe, anywhere 18 to 35. Darren McFadden's who you associate Razorback football with. Some say he's probably the greatest running back to ever play at the university, and also greatest high school player to play in the state of Arkansas. What say you on that? And Demetrius, when you look at Darren and all of his accomplishments, what sticks out about this young man during your time in watching Razorback football?
I definitely have to say Darren Madden is the biggest, arguably the best athlete to come out of the University of Arkansas, even when you're talking professional and collegiate. I think I necessarily didn't think he would have the ending of his NFL career so early, but I think he did the things when you look at what team he was drafted with and when they were drafted. Yeah, that's really how I got to find out about the University of Arkansas, was all through the highs. Just growing up in Korea, that was one of the big events that came on the TV every year. So just him going back to back and him being one of the first freshmen to actually be in contention for
Right.
that Heisman was really big. And that's what, that Razorback moment that kind of stood out for me for Darren McFadden.
Now, I know of many, and I had the privilege of watching Darren. During the time Coach Nutt was here, Darren would come up to a lot of the elite football camps that Coach Nutt and staff would have, and you could just see his speed would jump out. We would always stand and watch the 40 times, and Darren just had that extra gear. You always knew and had questions of just how good he would be with running in between the tackles, but we all knew once he got outside that perimeter, it would be really difficult to stop Darren. And I think, when Coach Nutt and staff implemented that Wildcat offense, that's when I really feel like Darren and that program in that very special 2 years went to another level. A lot of people remember that Darren had a chance to play with two other NFL running backs in Peyton Hillis and Felix Jones, but just to see the way Darren, and I go back to that South Carolina game here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, when Darren went for, I believe, 300 and a million yards, it seemed like. It was a night that I'll never forget, because that's when you knew that he was a pretty elite running back. In the SEC, you don't see many running backs like Darren. I've seen a few: Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, Sean Alexander. Those guys come to mind, but to the degree of what Darren McFadden brought to the SEC was something that the state of Arkansas and this fan base hadn't seen. Don't you agree, D?
Definitely, being El Dorado, Arkansas, my parents from El Dorado, just being that close to Louisiana and just always having that battle of the boot, one of the biggest things that really sticks out of me is where you can say Darren McFadden kind of singly beat LSU. So it's just great. I really hear a lot of Darren McFadden stories growing up, just being that close. So it's really exciting to really see the accolades that he's really getting. And the beauty of it was we got a chance to go to the College Hall of Fame, the SEC Media Day.
Right.
And it was interesting because when you first come into the College Football Hall of Fame, you see a Darren McFadden replica jersey. So in my head, when I had went last year, I thought, okay, he must already be in the Hall of Fame. But to actually see him being recognized and then actually wanting to make a section for Darren McFadden, I think it's great. It's really good, a good brand for Arkansas.
Which leads me to my next question. When you have guys in your program that come through 3 or 4 years, some maybe 5, and they go on to reach things like the College Football Hall of Fame, you're a Heisman Trophy winner, how does that help your program, in particular at that position that's getting so much love? Darren's a running back. Do you think after this, more and more of the top running backs will start to look at Arkansas and Chad Morris's program? But second part of that question, don't you also feel like this is the year, if you do something like this when Darren and you're running back, then you have to come back the Devois Whaleys, the Raheem Boyds, Monte Spivey's, Chase Hayden's. Those guys have to come out and have a productive year, which could really, if they able to do that, Demetrius, it's going to springboard recruiting at that position to a tremendous level to where maybe they can start kind of cherry picking, don't you think?
Definitely, I have to agree 100% because, speaking of Raheem Boyd and Darren McFadden, Raheem Boyd was the last rusher to have 100 yards on Alabama. So just to make that type of correlation and for Darren McFadden to get those accolades this year, I think it gives Raheem Boyd motivation, that I could see myself doing the things that Darren McFadden, it's hard to even come by and make that statement that I rushed for 100 yards on Alabama. So to me, it just shows the type of potential that Raheem has being going forward to the University of Arkansas. I just think it's a big brand endorsement. Like the recruit we had on last week that was, 5A state player, getting high rank caliber running back to university. And I think in this generation, a lot of people forget about Darren McFadden. Although, it's not too long ago, but I think this generation has seen so much of Alabama that they don't know the guys that never made it to the championship. So again, to me, I think it just sheds a lot of light on Arkansas. I just want Arkansas to capitalize and do something with the attention because it will be a little bit more light shed on the university.
And I think that's where Arkansas Coach Morris are going to try to work toward getting those type of kids. I can think back to that Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis backfield. Like you said, D, those all were first-round draft choices. Those were NFL pros, and I think that's what you have to get back to if you're going to be Coach Morris and staff to get this program built to a level of sustainability and high success. You have to recruit pro-level type of athletes, be it at the junior college level, at the high school level, or at the prep school level. They have to be someone that you can see having a great chance to move on to the next level and play on Sundays. And that's what Darren was able to do. That's what most of the young men, there was a lot of NFL pros that had a chance to come through this program and play with Darren McFadden. And, Demetrius, you made a statement, the younger generation, when I talk to recruits like the Sevion Morrisons and the Monte Spiveys and, running backs that Arkansas have recruited in the past or will continue to recruit in the future, Darren McFadden comes up, number 5. The kids remember who the running back was at the University of Arkansas, the Doak Walker winner, and I think that's going to continue to be used. That's the one thing I like about Chad Morris and his staff. They embrace the past success, the history of the Arkansas Razorback program, and I think by them selling it, a lot of kids aren't familiar. When I talked to Sevion Morrison, he wasn't familiar with Jerry Jones being a Razorback alumni, but Chad Morrison's staff are starting to put that out there, and kids are starting to be made aware of just all of the possibilities and all the options and great things that surround the University of Arkansas program. But we're going to step away. You got something to say? Because you in it today. I like it. It's 2019.
I was going to say, going back to the culture, you have to have a path to build the type of culture that Chad Morris is really trying to put together. When you look at the Alabamas, and anytime when you talk to the players, they talk about the standard that's been created at the University of Alabama, but that only comes from the past generation having a connection with the new guys that's coming here, that's going to Alabama, that they understand, guys, this is what we've been doing in the past, and this is our expectation, and we don't accept anything below this. So I think it's great that Chad Morris is really trying to implement the past and the present because, again, that's so key to building a proper football culture and understanding the type of legacy and that name on the front of the jersey that you're really playing.
Well, we're talking about names on the jersey and legacy. We're going to catch up with Touchdown Alabama, Stephen M. Smith, as Coach Nick Saban and that Alabama Crimson Tide football program and the 2018 version of the Alabama Crimson Tides is going to continue to try to add to their legacy tonight in the national championship games as they take on the Clemson Tigers and Dabo Swinney. Kickoff set for 8 p.m. We'll catch up with Stephen and just get his thoughts on how he thinks it might play out tonight when they play for that gold trophy. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
Plays. I thought Starks was fantastic tonight. He played probably one of his better games it seemed like he loves playing against us. I think because of, the floor is spaced out, he can get in there and create, and he's so shifty. Also, Flag, he had a great game for them also. But I was so proud of our guys. I thought our guys, they matched the intensity, they matched the physicality that A&M brings to the table. I think they're plus 6, 7, I don't know what on the rebound. And obviously, we hadn't done as good a job as we're capable of doing. But tonight, I thought there was a big difference in the game. We talk about winning in the paint. I thought that was the biggest difference. But then also, we went 1 for 14 from the three-point line, I think, in the second half. I mean, Mason goes like goose egg in the first half. Second half, we ended up making, I think, 4 in a row. Mason made 3 of them. Big shots. And so this win goes to our total team. Daniel was actually saddled with 4 fouls when we actually made a real good surge with Gabe Usoborn out there. I thought he was big, 7 rebounds for it, fixing things on defense. Adriel Bailey. And what can you say about Jalen Harris? That's why I said you can continue to talk about this team. Deji Seals, he was big in the first half. He kept us in it, scored 13 points, and just the energy. I can't say it enough. To take so many young guys on the road in an environment like this here and to just find a way to win. That's what you want to do, and that's what we did. We hung around, and we had a chance to finish the game off. And so, again, Texas A&M, again, they are who I thought they were.
Mike, did you think you had it under control when y'all took that 8-point lead with just over a minute to go?
I thought we'd be able to make free throws to kind of, keep ourselves in a position to win the game. But I've been around this game long enough to know it's not over till it's over. It says 0-0 on the clock, and true to form, that's what took place. And we've been in the same scenario going down the stretch. Isaiah's up on the free throw line, one of your better free throw shooters, and I was hoping he missed that last one, because nobody had time out, and lo and behold, it happened. So but we were fortunate, and that's what you got to be on the road in the SEC. You got to be fortunate. Our league is really, really good, and so I'm happy for our guys. I thought they played their tails off tonight.
You mentioned Jalen.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to all our sponsors, as it would not be possible without you guys. Lindsay and Associates, the Baymont Hotel, Locomotion. It would not be possible without you all. And if you want to sponsor us here on the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, you can do so. You can reach out to us on our Facebook page. You can reach me at @PatJenkins4. Also, you can go to On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk, or you can reach us on our Facebook page, On the Hill Sports Talk Radio, and we'll definitely respond back ASAP if you want to. Or you can reach us also by just calling us, 479-601-7400, for anyone interested in sponsoring on TH here on the Hill on 479 KDSJ. But we're going to step out and start talking national championship. It's a big, big game. And tonight, we're going to find out who the big dog is in the 5 years of the collegiate playoff system, as the Alabama Crimson Tide will take on the Clemson Tigers for the 4th consecutive year. That's right, I said the 4th consecutive year, 3rd time in the national championship game. So we're going to catch up with our good buddy of Touchdown Alabama and get his take, Stephen M. Smith. Stephen, welcome back to the Hill, my man.
Hey, Happy New Year, Pat, to you and Demetrius and everybody out there, man. How y'all feeling?
I'm doing real good. I'm really feeling excited about 2019. But I know you're feeling excited for kickoff here in a couple hours. Talk about this game, Stephen, and what are some keys that offensively Alabama must do versus this very vaunted front line of Clemson tonight at 8 o'clock in the national championship?
Well, you brought it up to start the show, Pat. This is the 4th time both of these programs meet up, the 3rd time for a national championship between Alabama and Clemson. And for Alabama's offense, first and foremost, being able to establish the run game against a vaunted Clemson run, even without Dexter Lawrence, you still look at Cleveland Farrell, Christian Wilkins, Austin Bryant, 3 very much so disruptive guys in the defensive front. The linebacking core, there relies Kendall Joseph, guys like J.D. Davis and Trey Lamar. So this is a very experienced group for Clemson. So for Alabama, establishing that run game, getting Damian Harris going early, feeding him the football, Najee Harris, Josh Jacobs, Brian Robinson, but not just those guys, getting that protection for Tua Tagovailoa in the pocket. This will be the second straight game that Lester Cotton will start at left guard. Deontay Brown has started in that spot all season, but due to some NCAA issues with him, he does not play in the entire college football playoff. So this will be the second time where the senior Lester Cotton takes that spot at left guard. So protecting Tua against a pressurous defensive front, but then also getting that run game started and softening up that Clemson defense is the main thing for Alabama's offense.
Alabama's strength running the football has been it's been the staple of Coach Saban's offensive philosophy for so many years up till this season under Tua. They've gone more air raid, but still, you can't overlook the guys like Damian Harris, Josh Jacobs, and the list continues to go on. When you look at this front seven, that's the strength of Clemson. They don't give, I think 2.3 yards per rush, I believe, throughout the season. How big is that matchup, Stephen, tonight in this ball game? Because I think it could be, their Alabama's offense versus Clemson's defense. How that battle goes will decide who wins the game. Do you feel that way also?
I mean, absolutely. This game, Pat, is going to come down to the trenches. You got an experienced Clemson front line under Brent Venables. And just speaking on Venables for right now, I don't see how this man does not have a head coaching job yet. I don't know if he just likes to be an assistant coach or what the deal is with him. But Brent Venables is one of the best defensive minds in college football. He's going to scheme a lot of pressures, a lot of blitzes, a lot of stunts. There are going to be some moments where he's going to overload one side of the football and come after Tua, or overload a different side of the football and just key in on Alabama's back. So it's going to come down to trench warfare. But also keep in mind of the weather in this game, Pat. There's a potential for rain in Santa Clara. And if there's a lot of rain mixed with field conditions that are not quite suited at this point, it's going to cause for a lot of running the football. And when you mix rain with run game with two great defenses, it's going to come down to the battle in the trenches. Which offensive line, which defensive line is going to be the bigger man up, and give an outstanding effort. So it's going to come down to trench warfare.
Who, in your opinion, as far as skill position, has the advantage? You guys have Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy, Irvin. Then you look over at Clemson. They've got Ross, Higgins, Renfro. They have some guys, Rogers, ATN. You guys got Harris. Who has the advantage offensively? Because these are two high-powered offenses, in your opinion, Stephen.
These are two high-powered offenses, but I look at Alabama with the edge, not just with the players it has the skill position, but when you have a quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa to where he is able to dissect a defense pre- and post-snap reads. He knows what's going on, and that's a unique skill to have when you can walk up to the line of scrimmage, know which angle you want to attack, whether you reach the defensive end, the defensive tackle, the inside linebacker, the outside linebacker, where you already have a preconceived idea of what's going on and where you want to attack. And even if they change something, even if something was to be altered, for you to combat that with, okay, if they're going to take away my read here, then I already got this guy on the curl, or I already got this guy on the slant, or I got this guy running a skinny post fade inside. When you have that ability as a quarterback, pre- and post-snap read, to already dictate to a defense, and even if it changes, you have the ability to combat and still get your guys in the right call. Having a guy like that in Tua Tagovailoa is the biggest difference maker.
Talk about the secondary there at Clemson. Has Alabama faced a secondary with this much speed on the back end this season? You look at Simmons. This is a guy 6'3", about 215. He runs a 4.3 40. They've got a lot of experience also on that side of the ball, and just throughout that entire football team. Based on the experience factor, I know a lot of national media give that edge to Clemson. You know, in your situation, from where you view it, is that the accurate assessment, experience-wise, would go to Clemson, or is that just something that could be, overlooked?
Clemson's got an experienced bunch, Pat, but I feel like the most versatile, speedy, athletic, playmaking secondary that Alabama has faced. I look at between LSU and Georgia. LSU and Georgia have the most playmakers in the secondary, and of course, Mississippi State has the most experienced front line. So I look at Georgia and LSU in terms of secondary. But I look at Clemson's back five. You mentioned Isaiah Simmons. He's got 6 pass breakups this season. And Tanner Muse has 2 interceptions. But Clemson does not have a lot of those guys that in years past in that back five you looked at and you really circled and feared those guys. In years past, you had guys like T.J. Green, guys like Mackenzie Alexander, Cordero Tankersley, not just long-range and athletic 6'3", 6'4" corners, but guys that knew how to play the football, guys that created interceptions, created pass breakups. They knew how to get turnovers. Right. This Clemson secondary this year, this defense as a whole, Pat, just 10 interceptions, 7 picks coming from the back five that ranks toward the bottom when you look at college football. So a secondary that, though they may have the experience, they're not the ball-hawking, turnover-driven secondary that we're used to seeing from Dabo Swinney and Brett Venables in years past.
Last question. The time has come, Steve. When all is said and done with this national championship game, who wins this game and why?
When it's all said and done, Pat, Alabama gets this game, and the reason why, as good as Clemson is, and they're good, Dabo Swinney's an elite coach. Brent Venables is an elite defensive coordinator. But if you remove Justin Ross and Trevor Lawrence from this team, this is essentially the same Clemson group from last year.
Right.
And when Nick Saban plays against familiarity, he knows what to do in that state of mind.
Well, as always, my man, love having you on. We'll catch up sometime this week to recap this national championship game. And, Avery, Coach Johnson, that basketball team starting to stir things up. They just got that big win versus Kentucky over the weekend.
AJ took down Kentucky, so basketball looking good right now.
Well, Stephen, we'll catch up this week and start talking about that basketball team down in Tuscaloosa. But as always, enjoy, and thanks for taking time out on the hill, my man.
I appreciate you guys. Pat, Demetrius, you take care.
All right. That was Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama. Demetrius, the man is solid. I mean, he's solid. When we need the breakdown of any SEC school, and nobody does it better, it's covering the Tide than Stephen M.
Oh, definitely, man. That's a guy that knows his stuff, really well informed, does his homework. So that's a guy that I really value his opinion when it comes to the Crimson Tide.
Well, we caught up. I'm going to give you more post-game with Coach Mike Anderson. He's going to talk a little Texas A&M, Arkansas. And then, coming out of the break, there's a University of Arkansas football player that's decided to test his waters in the NFL draft. We'll let you know who that is, and Demetrius and I will tell you just what we think about it. Is it good or is it bad? Stay tuned. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479.
So many young guys on the road in an environment like this here, and just find a way to win. That's what you want to do, and that's what we did. We hung around, and we had a chance to finish the game off. And so, again, Texas A&M, again, they are who I thought they were.
How did you think you had it under control when y'all took that 8-point lead with just over a minute to go?
I thought we'd be able to make free throws to kind of, keep ourselves in a position to win the game. But I've been around this game long enough to know it's not over till it's over. It says 0-0 on the clock, and true to form, that's what took place. And we've been in the same scenario going down the stretch. Isaiah's up on the free throw line, one of your better free throw shooters, and I was hoping he missed that last one, because nobody had time out. And lo and behold, it happened. So we were fortunate, and that's what you got to be on the road in the SEC. You got to be fortunate. Our league is really, really good, and so I'm happy for our guys. I thought they played their tails off tonight.
You mentioned Jalen. When you get a line with 9 assists, no turnovers, you got to really like that.
Well, I didn't. I thought defensively, I thought he was engaged. I thought he was the calming force out there. I thought he took control out there on the floor and in an environment like this here, because we had some adversity take place. You know, we had a 5-point lead, and boom, they come right back at us. So my hat's off to him. I thought he led our defensive charge. Played a lot of minutes, and but in SEC, that's what happens. You got to do what it takes to win, and so I was proud of him.
You know, Mike, you guys are down by 2. Daniel's on the bench with foul trouble. You're 1 of 14 on threes, and then all of a sudden Mason and Joe get hot. What did you think of that stretch? That was good timing.
I thought it showed our team, and those guys have been in games in meaningful minutes. When you think about Gabe Usabor and Adrio, those are some guys that have been here and they played. And I thought what it did is there was so much attention placed on Daniel that I thought they did a good job of really staying in there and getting out to the shooters. But I think when we open up the floor, now we got a lot of cutting, getting in there in the lanes, getting to the basket. We're in the 1-on-1. And I think Jalen did a good job of finding those guys. I thought those guys did a good job of getting open. And so that's what you want. You know, we're a much better shooting team, and you just didn't know when it's going to come. So we talk about a game of runs. The runs came, and they came from the 3-point line.
And Mason, I think, had been 1 for 17 going back to the last game, and he hits those threes. He was getting good looks. They just weren't going down. You know, just a matter of good shooters going to get his shots to finally go.
Well, yeah, that's true, and I thought our guys encouraged him. I thought Jalen, hey, man, you got to shoot the basketball. You open, shoot it. And he did. And then, of course, now you start getting the rhythm and get that confidence, start playing with that confidence. And so that was good to see, especially in big moments.
Unbalanced scheduling, 4th time in 7 seasons, open at A&M. Could you speak to finally?
I said it's like, I think it's the annual, it's the annual game. Maybe it's the old Southwest Conference Classic or something. I don't know. But I got to talk to the SEC about that one. I mean, it just seemed like it's an annual deal. And but it was a game for the fans. I thought it went down to the wire.
How did it feel? I think the other games they've beaten you guys pretty decisively. How good does it feel to win a tight one like you did?
We've been in tight ones all year, Bob. I mean, the games that we've lost, guys, we're like 1 possession away, 1 free throw away. So continue the growth of this team. That's what we're looking at. This team is continuing to grow. We're getting more productivity from our bench. And I think that's the biggest attribute. We had 22 points off the bench tonight, and it was much needed. Daniel got in foul trouble at crunch time. And so now we got guys that are coming off the bench. They come out and give us some big minutes. Even the free throw that Dez shot in the second half, I thought it was a big free throw. I think it was a 1-point game and put us back up by 2. And so again, it's total team win.
With a young team, how big to be 1-0 in the conference on the road?
Enjoyed the midnight, Bob. You got another one coming up. We got Florida coming in on Wednesday. So that's what I told them. It's every game's a big game for this young team. We just got to hopefully learn and continue to grow.
Welcome back. It's our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. As we let you finish out the post game with Coach Mike Anderson. You know, Coach Anderson, when you heard that, I'm pretty sure you heard excitement. I'm pretty sure you heard a coach that was really proud of the grit that his young basketball team showed on the road. They were able to go on the road and still won. And when you're dealing with a basketball team, a young basketball team, 9 new players on your roster, when they're able to go on the road and win in a hostile environment. I know that the thing that Arkansas really caught to their advantage is school was out, so students weren't in the Coliseum, so they weren't able to bring that extra energy to that Texas A&M ball club. But still, yet Arkansas was able to go on the road, still won, and they're winning close games. That's the thing that sticks out to me each and every week is they're growing, they're learning how to win ball games, and they're winning in different ways. But on the flip side, I want to talk a little football. Today it was announced a little over an hour ago that Ryan Pulley, junior cornerback, will forego his senior year and put his name in the NFL draft. I want to pose that to you, Demetrius. In your honest, humble opinion, is this a good idea or is this a bad decision, or is this a decision that I guess you just have to see how it plays out with Ryan deciding to forego his senior year and enter the NFL draft?
No, I think it's a situation you have to really let play out and see. Because I do think Ryan Pulley has that potential to be an NFL star. I just don't know if now's the time. But at the same time, I never know how hard a man is willing to work towards, his income. I don't know the situations outside of football that Ryan Pulley goes through on a daily basis. So, who am I to say he's wrong? But I do think from a development and a scouting standpoint, there was more from a tape standpoint that I would have liked to see, or if I was a scout, that I would have liked to see for him. Because there's things when the games got hard, tough situations that I would have liked him to step up.
Right.
Just being a senior player on the team that I didn't really see this year.
I totally agree. I think every situation is different. Based on the year that Ryan had, part of me says it's not a good decision. But, on the flip side of this, Ryan has a family and a situation. I'm pretty sure he wants to take care of his mother and his entire family, and feels that he has the ability of, that's good enough and worthy enough to test himself in the NFL. And I think, he has the ability to do that. I think one thing that most NFL owners or GMs are going to ask Ryan is that Mississippi State incident is going to come up. How does he handle that? And then I think he's going to have to win the trust in the combines, and I think Ryan has the ability to do that. I was truly expecting a better junior year from RP than what we witnessed, and I felt like it would have benefited him to come back and kind of wipe the slate clean and have 12 to 13 games or so to kind of get that incident at Mississippi State totally out of the decision makers that are going to be making the draft decisions in late June, as far as who's going to get an opportunity to play on Sundays or even make the practice squad. So, but I know he's got the talent. I wish him all the best for he and his family. May God watch over Ryan through his journey. But I think it's just, as Coach Morris and staff have always said, next man up. I think they've recruited at a level, and especially at cornerback, you kind of feel like Devin Bush, Greg Brooks, Adonis Ote, Malik Chavis. Those guys can come in at the cornerback and really impact this program, and I think that's something that we'll see. We are truly now, Demetrius, in the rebuilding process, as I think the entire secondary at the University of Arkansas, outside of Cameron Curl, will be manned by freshmen or sophomores going forward. But the future looks bright. I think they're going to get a lot faster. There's the one thing that's stood out to me throughout the past two classes with the guys like Joe Fouché, Miles Mason, and then the class that they're bringing in of Bush, Brooks, Ote, and Chavis, and possibly Jalen Catalon. Those are going to be some things that I'm going to be paying close attention to. But, we want to wish Ryan Pulley well. Godspeed. It's been a great joy to cover number 11 during his time here in Fayetteville, as he's, a great young man, high character individual. So, and like I say, I'm proud to say I covered Ryan Pulley, and I'm doing nothing. Everybody here from OTH, we wish you the best at whatever Ryan ends up doing. But that's going to close us out today. We'll be back tomorrow. I want to give a thank you to Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama for coming on and talking Clemson, Alabama, how he sees this ball game playing out. Also, too, want to give a shout out to my producer, Demetrius Johnson. And before we go, give a shout out to all our sponsors, Lindsay & Associates, with an office location in Fayetteville, and office location also too in Rogers, the Baymont Hotel, located at 735 South Shiloh Drive. Locomotion, located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall. And lastly, before we get out of here, this is the big moment, Demetrius. Who wins the national championship ball game between Alabama, Crimson Tide, and the Clemson Tigers, and why?
I'm gonna have to go Alabama. I know a lot of people think Clemson really has to lose, but Arkansas experience. Been there, done that.
Right.
They know what to do in any situation.
I think it's the rubber match. Third time in 4 years that they've battled it out. Last game of the year for the highest honor of collegiate football. We're going to find out who's the big dog in the playoff system over the last 5 years, as whoever wins this ball game tonight will claim their second national championship. And at the end of the day, I said it last year, I felt like if Clemson could come up with a quarterback, and Trevor Lawrence has more than accepted the responsibility and really lived up to the expectation many in the country had for him coming in as a true freshman. Defensive line is where it's going to come down to, and I think Clemson gets a lot of pressure on Tua, creates 1 or 2 turnovers, and runs the ball for 150 plus, and they get the close win. I think this is going to be a defensive game. A lot of people are expecting an offensive outburst. I think it's going to be vice versa because I think the defensive lines will play good, but Clemson just plays a little bit better, and they get it done. Clemson 27, Alabama 21. That's my prediction, and that's going to do it. We'll catch you tomorrow. Else we're on our way to Coach A's media availability. We'll have a lot of what Coach A sees in this upcoming game, and we'll preview the Florida Gators as Arkansas takes them on. Also, before we get out, I want to make a note. Arkansas's women under Coach Mike Neighbors got their first SEC win, 85-55, as they went to Oxford, Mississippi, and came back 1-1 in the SEC. Until tomorrow, it's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one.